Hey, how's it going? My name is Meg, and I have 3 life upgrades for you in November. Now, these are 3 things in business, personal, and health that have helped my life immensely. Some of them are products, some of them are concepts, but basically they are life upgrades. They've made my life a lot better, and I hope that at least one of these items in here or concepts can help you in your life. First one, we're here in the office. However, I did want to show off my little ghetto fabulous external hard drive sort of holder thing. I edit videos, I edit pictures. Basically, we have a lot of data and a lot of content that we need to store at the ready for B-roll purposes, marketing purposes, whatever. You know, we have a lot of client stuff, so we have a lot of data on hard drives. And so I'm always kind of going back even into 2012 for old content to kind of bring back to the surface again or reshare. And so I have a lot of these cheap hard drives. It would be nice to have like a Drobo or something like that, but it's a little kind of out of my price range. So if you're like me and you're just like trying to do it old school and you don't have a lot of money just kind of hanging around, this is what I did. So I basically got all my drives kind of lined up, because otherwise they were just all over my desk causing havoc. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just kind of label them at the top so that I can see what they are. So I have this one here. These are, I mean, they all look similar. I can kind of recognize them from the color and guesstimate, but I want to really take out that and make my life a lot easier, so at the ready basically. And then I just drilled a hole, probably about 1 inch wide or so in diameter, so that this main wire can come in and I can easily plug it into my laptop. That's my business upgrade, because that's been really been a headache for me all these years. I had all these drives just kind of hanging around, and then I would see all the wires. So at least now it's kind of contained to this box. I'm sure there's a better setup like a server or something like that, but those are upwards into like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. I don't have that right now. I'm rolling like this for a minute. Let's move on to the next upgrade. So for this next update, it's actually a YouTube channel.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So, as you guys may know or don't know, I injured myself some time ago back in 2012. It's been bothering me. I've been dealing with it, chronic pain, since then, since 2012. That's a long time to be dealing with an injury or with pain or with all that kind of stuff. So there's that. When I started shooting again, because I basically had to, I was like, man, I have to figure out a way to not be in pain anymore. I have to figure out a solution where I'm more or less not pain-free, but more or less like not in agony. Simple things like blowing your nose or sneezing or coughing that would hurt, because I didn't know what was going on. I've been scouring the internet since then about how to fix myself, because I don't go to chiropractors, I don't go to doctors. For one, I know it's going to be very expensive, and 2, I've done it already and they didn't help. I know it was up to me to kind of figure out what my body needs and have more awareness. So I started there. I scoured the internet. A couple other things besides this YouTube channel called Upright Health helped, but this is the main one, and I think it was so it blows my mind because it's so simple what I needed to do. Basically, I had a problem with really tight hips, and when you have tight hips, it pulls and pushes things out of alignment, and so the problem was there. So I was always treating like, oh, my back hurts. I always thought it was my back, when in fact it was my hips. And what this channel has taught me is that the hips, the back, everything, it's all connected. I already knew that in a way, but I didn't know what that meant for me as somebody who was in pain and wanted to learn how to learn about my body so that I could fix it, you know, get to the root of the problem. So I was always treating symptoms because I just didn't know. I just didn't know what was causing the pain, and how this affected this, and how this was pulling this, you know. So there's this map that I had to learn, and this channel really helped me learn that map basically for myself, because everybody's pain map is different. So like say say like this part of your hip or this part of your back hurts, like just this area, you know, and then you're like, okay, well, what does that mean? What in my body is messed up or pulling or pushing or whatever that is causing this? So that was the main kind of mystery that I could never figure out for the longest time until I found this channel. So I highly recommend you check it out if you do deal with any pain in general, because they not only just focus on that, because I think the founder of the channel, he had a lot of hip issues as well, back pain, knee pain, and all that stuff. So I still go to it regularly to kind of teach myself video by video. Oh, okay, this is actually this. And so I actually learned that whenever I have a back pain right here, a lot of the times it's not about my back, it's about my quads. And this hip flexor here that's really, really tight, or this muscle here, or this muscle here, and then strengthening it as well. So I think it's so important to have a really good understanding of your body specifically, because all of our bodies are really different in how they handle pain and how things will just like compensate for certain things that you do on a daily basis. Like right now, like before, seriously, I couldn't do this without pain. I couldn't do this without pain. I couldn't do simple things like bend over like this to brush my teeth and wash my mouth out. It would be really painful. Or there'd always just be like a stab. There's just a knife every single time, because I didn't know that there was so many muscles here that were not being stretched correctly. And so I think it was just such a lifesaver, and it blows my mind how simple it is. The things that he taught me in order for me to learn about my body to fix my problems. I'll kind of point you in the direction, because when you go to a channel, they have a lot of videos. So I'll kind of point you in the direction of the ones that help me the most. And help me gain an understanding of what is going on here in this core area, and with my legs and with my butt, and how they contribute to that low back pain that I was feeling, where it was like, it's not really your back, it's actually your hips. Okay, next life upgrade. Okay, so here's my last update. In the personal realm. So we did business, which was my little Ghetto Fabulous HD box, health, which was Upright Health, that YouTube channel that helped me fix a lot of issues where I couldn't even sit like this without a lot of pain after getting up, or without messing something up terribly. Now we get to the personal update. This has been coming up a lot lately. I never really, like, it's so weird how you've been doing something and then like you haven't made the connection that you've been doing it all along. It's like when you find something that's been under your nose the whole time and you're like, oh my God, I've been looking for that. Personally, I didn't know that I was practicing Stoicism in my relationship until like maybe a couple years ago, when I read about it, because one of my favorite authors, Tim Ferriss, was like all about Stoicism and trying to get everybody and their mom to be Stoics. And I was like, I actually do that in my relationship with Kevin. So before, when we used to shoot together and we didn't know how to talk to each other and we were young and blah, 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 we were having a lot of tension between us. We would get into really like tense arguments where I really felt like, you're not being fair to me in the business, or I'm not being heard, or I'm not being appreciated, and a lot of those things that you go through when you're in a relationship that's past the honeymoon phase. One of the things that really trained my mind on how to be a better communicator, a better partner when we weren't married yet. And there were certain behaviors that would always set me off. I would become reactionary. I was very reactionary, and personally, on a very like my personality is very reactionary. I can switch on you in a moment. If I don't like what I hear or I don't like what I see, whatever, I'll switch on you. That's my personality. And so you can imagine that any little thing that would happen, a negative thing, I would take it personally. I would just turn a switch, and I'd be the most irritable, unloving, unforgiving person. And I realized after talking to friends who were like, it's not about that person, it's about the behavior that you don't like, making that separation. And then going, hey, I do want to spend the rest of my life with this person, but this behavior has to change. How do I get there? And how do I communicate that to this person? Well, it came through Stoicism. So Stoicism is, to me, you can look it up and you can Google it on your own, but this is how I utilize it. I cherry pick the things that work for me, and I build from there, as you should with any philosophy or concept, right? Cherry pick the things that work for you and then move on and build from there. You don't have to follow everything by the book. Here's what I did. You turn off your emotions. You turn off your reactionary crocodile brain, that reptile brain that only is like, when something bad happens, you want to kill that thing. You want to kill that person. You're like, oh my God, why did you do that? So you turn that off and you're just like, okay, I don't like that. I accept that. That's what happened. That sucks. Okay. How, now that I've turned off my reactionary brain, how do I get back to solving it? How do I get back to equilibrium? How do I get back to a place that is better so this issue, this behavior, this problem, this catastrophe doesn't happen again, or it's lessened, or we move to a place of betterment in general, right? And so you could take this and use it in your relationship. You can use it in your business, which I use it hardcore over there. When shit goes wrong, I'm like, oh, okay. What happened? Where was I at fault? How can I make this better? What do I need to do to discipline or correct the mistake that has happened? And then move on. Like, don't take it personally. Don't react and blow up at somebody emotionally just because you didn't get what you wanted. It's become such a magnificent tool in my relationship, in my marriage, in my business, and so many things. And just learning that concept of turning off the crocodile brain, shutting off your emotions, and just going, okay, that happened. I acknowledge and I accept that sucks. What have I learned from that? How can we move to a better place? And how can we do that better and better and faster the times that mistakes happen, or when high stress environments happen, or tension happens, or whatever, mistakes happen, right? So finding ways to get to the solution, the better place, to greener pastures, as quickly and efficiently and as fair as possible. We had a lot of kind of hang-ups in my business on my end, where I was like, this is a moment where Kevin would normally freak out. Like, my husband would freak out. The sky would be falling, right? But I handle things a little bit differently. So it allowed us to just make amends and move on and get the things that we wanted faster. So I'm really a proponent of Stoicism. Google it. Find out for yourself. Cherry pick the things that can work for you. And hopefully use it when things are not so great, because more often than not, things don't go to plan, right? So yeah, those are my updates. I hope you enjoyed that. It got that, that was useful for you. And maybe see you in December or January for another life upgrade list. See ya. Oh wait, hold on.